Welcome to the first episode of Legendary Logger. I'm your host, T.O. And I'm actually going to interview Mr. You can tell me your name.
Thomas J. Richardson.
Okay. And it so happened to be my father. They'll hold that dog in the road, eh? They hear me talk. I'ma tell you now, Pops, I love you. I'ma tell you now, Pops, I love you. I'ma tell you 5 years old, wake me up, as we go to work. Eat Sunday morning breakfast before we go to church. Taught me how to make money with my hands and mind. All right. How y'all doing? Welcome to the first episode of Legendary Loggers. I am your host, Mr. T.O. And I'm along here with my first interviewer. However, the name of this episode is Legendary Loggers. And the person I have right here before me, tell me your name.
Thomas J. Richardson.
And this actually so happened to be my father. Okay, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. And let's get started here. We're talking about legendary logger, a legendary logger. Let's see here. One of the first questions. Where are you from, Mr. Richardson?
It was Mississippi.
Okay, it was Mississippi. All right, and one of the other things that we really would love to know, is basically kind of explain your story, as a child. It's coming up, what you had to know, your challenges that you had to face. Also tell them how old you are.
Yeah. Well, I'm 70 years old, and I started out real young. My father, thank God, owned his own place, and we had to plow mule and raise cotton and raise all the food we ate. And we worked here on the farm. And thank God some days we didn't have meat or something at a meal. My mom sometimes used to cook for my sisters and brother, and it wouldn't be enough, so she wouldn't eat nothing as long as the children ate. And so, but I thank God that we kept on pushing. And I would go to school and go to school without breakfast and couldn't afford to get dinner. And we came home and my mom would tell her she ain't cooked yet. Go to the field. By the time you come out the field, she'll have dinner cooked for us. So really we worked all day. I went all day without anything eating. So I used to always say, life should be better than this. And so, but I stayed there. My daddy gave me a cultivator and a mule when I was about 9 years old. I was too short to even hold the cultivator from the top. I had to hold it from the bottom. And he would tell me I was cultivating cotton. And he would tell me, you better not plow out the cotton. And so a couple times, a time went by me being so short, I couldn't help but the cultivator get away because it was bigger than I would. And plow up a little cotton where daddy plowed up, I stopped and set it back out. Because I know my daddy meant business. Yeah, he said them plowed up, he meant not for you not plowed up.
All right, he meant that.
He meant that. So I stopped and set that cotton back out. And thank God that we plowed mule, raised our own crop, and we had our own hogs, cattle, and stuff like that as we grew older. And we could kill hogs and stuff. We could kill 7 or 8 hogs a year and the whole community would come in. Everybody got something to eat. So I thank God for that. And as I continue to grow, I got up about 12 or 13. And my daddy, he always would go out of town, try to get a job. And we had to see at the cows, the hogs, the pasture fence. We had to do all that. Just little 13-year-old boys, fix the fences. Cows get out, go get them. Hogs get out, had to go put them back in and fix. We just 13 years old. And so I thank God for my mom. She instilled that in me. Tell, y'all got to do it. Y'all the men of the family, so you all got to do it, and we had to do it. Right. And as time grew, I think I was about 15, and I started working for a little old place down in Itwas, little old service station. And I worked 5.5 days fixing truck tires, changing oil, washing cars, and all of that, pumping gas for $57 a week for 5.5 days. They gave me $57 a week. And after that, I went on and I said, Adam Make Farm had a job out there, paid 75 cents an hour. And I started working for them. And I worked a while for them, and I said, well, it was more, I always wanted more. Right. Yeah, I didn't want to go back because I wanted more. And so as I worked there, I was a little old boy. I went to Jackson, and I got hired at the
now Jackson where?
Jackson, Mississippi.
Okay, Jackson, Mississippi.
I got hired at the industrial plant up there where they make TV cabinets. And I was too young. I wasn't 18. And the guy come out there and look at me and said, where's your certificate where you're registered? I told him they ain't sent it yet. Right. I lied to him. I told him they ain't sent it yet, but I was so good at working. He hired me and kept me there. And working on that job, and I was making pretty good money, about $2 or something. And we were making TV cabinets there. And so it got on up, and I worked for a milk company, distributing milk and stuff on a milk truck. And then it come on down. My daddy used to be a logger. He used to logger with a Caterpillar and them buck saws, 2 main saws.
Now Caterpillar what?
Dover.
Okay, Caterpillar.
Yeah,
Dover.
Didn't have no blade on it, but he would go down them hollers and pull that log out. And so as I got older, I wanted to log. So I had bought me a 700 Ford truck, put me a log bed on it, and I had old tricycle wheel tractor. And so the thing about it, how hard I worked, if I cut a log in a place, then I had to turn around and cut a road to get the tractor there to the log. Cut a road just like you driving a truck in because you didn't want to blow out your tire. Wow. And so that's all day long. You find a log, you throw it, then you got to cut a road to get it. And so I started from there. And most people don't know what to call highline.
Now, how old were you around this time?
I guess I was around 19 at that time.
19 when you first took on the road of entrepreneurship.
Right, about 19 years old.
Okay, 19 years old.
And we would pull them logs up to the truck, and they put
the highline
skid poles up there, and you had a cable, 2 cables would hook in the top of a tree and hook on each end of the log, and then you hook the tractor to it, and it pick that log on, slide that log on up where it go on the truck. And sometimes you had to pull the truck out And when you get the log up, you bag the truck back under the log, then let the log down on the truck. So that's where I started out. And one day, the guy had a Mack truck, an old 72 Mack truck. And he wanted $6,000 for that truck. And I had worked that week in logging, and I had made just about all that money. And I said, well, I'm gonna get that truck. And I had a brother-in-law said, man, if I had the money in my hand, I wouldn't give it for no truck.
Right.
But he didn't understand. I wanted to go further,
right,
and do more.
Right.
So
let me ask you this now.
Mm-hmm.
So you had $6,000.
Had $6,000.
Never had $6,000 before in your life.
Never had this in my life.
So you actually took that $6,000 and still saying, okay, I worked hard enough to make this $6,000. I'm gonna be comfortable and be okay with that. But you not only took that $6,000 from all the hard work you did,
Mm-hmm.
you took that $6,000 to actually put yourself in a better situation to make yourself even more money. You bet it on yourself.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I bought that truck, and that week, and when I bought that truck, I was doing the same thing loading in the tractor because I didn't have a loader.
Right.
And that truck made me enough money to buy me a loader. And look at God. It bought me a loader, bought me an old loader on a truck. So when I pulled that wood out, I didn't have to whoop out highline and just take that knuckle boom, pick it up and set it on the truck.
Right.
And so that week, I made enough money. I said, I'm gonna try to find me a skiller. And back then, they was pretty high, and the only skiller we could get most of the warm people that had them and warm out. Then you had to get it, try to fix it to make it work, but I did. Found me old international skiller. And I could go in the woods, didn't have to cut a road for it, get the logs and bring them out up there to the ramp, and take the duck boom, set them on the truck, and go to the mill and come back. So my production had doubled already.
Exactly.
So 6,000 went from 6,000 to something like 12 and 13,000. All right, so people would tell me, man, ain't no way I'll spend that money and I already got it. But if you want to go move forward, you can't just set in one rut.
Right.
You want
a vision. It's the vision.
Yeah, you got to have a vision. The Bible said, without a vision, you should perish.
Right.
And so I went to moving up in my logging business. Sometimes I make 10, sometimes 12. And you have to always realize, though, you have to keep that money in the right place, because if you tore it back in,
right,
you had to go in there and pull that out and fix that. And I was a person that if I tore up some on my truck, I would always had a vision I could fix it.
Right.
And I would pull that back end out and look at it. And then I would take that back end up there, Jackson, Mississippi. And the guys up there, they had some back end had already put together. And so we would just swap. But after so long, I didn't swap. I started fixing my own back end. I didn't have to pay nobody to do that.
Right.
And like on my skiller, they would charge $9,000 and $10,000 to overhaul skiller. And I was always standing right there with that mechanic watching
for his engine.
Okay. To see what he done and how he done it.
Right.
I said, because if I learn enough, I won't have to give him this money.
Right.
And so time came where engine went out in my skiller, and me and my son, Thomas James, we would go get the parts around 2 o'clock. He went out that day. I would go to Jackson and Mississippi and get the parts, and came back, and we would overhaul that skidder that night. Sometimes we finish up, it'd be 2:30 at night. I had that skidder ready for the driver to get on it the next morning. Work all night till we got it ready.
2:30 in the morning.
2:30 in the morning till I got that joker ready. And so those are things that people need to understand. If you want to go somewhere, you got to have a vision.
Right.
Yeah, but most people like this get satisfied in what they in. You know, it just don't work like that.
Right.
Yeah, it just don't work like that.
You gotta be driven.
Right.
In a sense,
Mm-hmm.
to keep on pushing yourself to the higher heights
High.
possible.
That's right.
That's just what it is. You only have one life to achieve what you want to achieve,
Right.
and we don't live always.
That's right.
So it's important that we continue to push ourselves, use our time wisely.
That's right.
That's just what it is. So that's one of the main sources. For as working up to that was one of the biggest loggers in Hinds County. Steps before even and where we want you to pick up pretty much where you left off. Log, getting the truck, getting your skidder, and first starting out and basically the timeline to on past that.
Yeah, well, before I started in really logging, I was hauling pulpwood. And we had to tote that wood, cut those trees down, and we had to push it on each other's shoulder and tote that wood to the truck and throw it off on the pulpwood truck to get a load.
Right.
Now we were young. I can remember it was just 3 of us, and we was getting 4 loads a day. Just toting that wood, throwing on the truck like it wasn't nothing.
Big wood.
Big wood. And wood, it takes 2 people to put it on your shoulder. And when you get to the truck, it takes 2 people to throw it off. You couldn't throw it off the truck off your shoulder because it was so big. And we did that for years. And they turned around, then they started making a thing called a loader they put on a truck. But you had to get a plummet, like a plummet or Dodge back end. They was hard. And they cut that back end off and put a spool on it with a cable and a brake on the end where it would draw that wood to the truck. So that gave us some relief. And so we haul pulpwood like that, and sometimes we would get 100 and some loads a week. Hard working young men. And but I kept on doing that, and then it came to a place I joined the union up there, the labor union. And I'm gonna show you how work ethic will put you in a place that you don't know you could be in. After I joined the union, they would give me a job, and every job they would give me that we go out on it building, we were building buildings, and the superintendent would always find enough love to make me the foreman. Now that our young man.
Yeah. And now is this before you started logging, or what?
Well, I was logging and doing all at the same time.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I was logging, working construction, and doing it all at the same time. Yeah, I would get off in the evening. If I got off of work in the evening about 3 o'clock, go to the woods and get me a load of wood. And then slow down. I kept getting up. And they made me the foreman of the job, paid me an extra $1 or $2 just for doing that. And every job I went to, they always increased my pay, was increased every job. It wasn't going backwards, it was forward.
Yes, sir.
I was going forward. Every job I had from that day on, it would pay me $1 more, pay me a 50 cent more. That kept me going up. And so that's why hard work ain't never killed nobody.
Right.
That's the thing about that. And if you work hard, you can get some of the things you want. And then I worked hard because I didn't want my children to go through what I had been through.
Right.
Yeah, so those are the kind of things you have to look at. And then a logger, you got to be very tough.
Right.
Yeah, you got to be very tough, and you got to have your mind always on the job.
Right.
Always on the job. And that's the only way you can make it, because it was making it hard for us as it was, but we overcome it.
Right.
Yeah. And so I look at the loggers today, they got it made.
Right.
They got machines with heaters and air in them, and I used to have to go out there in the morning time, the ground froze, something coming loose on the skid up on the bottom or something. I had to lay down on that cold ground. Fix it, man. I had to fix it. But I kept pushing. I kept pushing it, bringing me up to the point I'm as now. And so I all the loggers grew up with me. Most all of them dead now and gone, but we was all old loggers that knew how to log.
Right.
Yeah, and what logging was all about. Yeah, you know, I was the #1 logger here in April, Mississippi. And they would have buy wood, and some of the loggers they had couldn't get it.
Right.
And they would take me to the job or the place and say, man, I bought this wood. Said, but I can't get nobody to get it out. And said, I heard you was the best logger, heel logger it was. And he said, I need to get that wood out of there. I said, well, how bad did you need it?
Right, and then there's one thing we want to talk about. When you reach the peak season of your logging career, I want you to let them know what year, pretty much what time frame this was, how many guys you had working for you, what other businesses other than logging that you had going on as well.
Right.
So pretty much once you reach your peak season in logging, how many trucks were you running?
I was running at one time I was running 6 trucks of my own. My own trucks. And I had, I think, 13 guys that were working for me. And you know, they drive trucks, run the skidder, but I had 13 guys working for me. And I would buy my timber.
Now, what about the machines? For as what all machines you had? You had 5 trucks, 6 trucks.
6 trucks.
And 6 trucks, 13 guys. And what was this back in the 80s, 90s?
Yeah, this was back in about the 80s. Yeah, in the 80s.
Okay, this was back in the 80s. Okay.
I owned 3 John Deere skidders. I bought me
3 John Deere
skidders
now.
Yeah, 3 of them. I had 3 of them running. John Deere skidders, and we would always kept that wood moving. Kept it moving. Yeah, we kept it moving, and
buy timber too.
Buy timber too. And so this guy had this one track of timber. He couldn't get it. He had a log of his own, but that man couldn't get it. And he took me over there, and it was off in a hollow that's straight down. And he said, I know I heard you could do it. I said, well, how bad do you want it? He said, I ain't got no choice, because I done spent that money. And I told him, I said, well, the thing about it, I said, it's on the ground.
Right.
I said, as long as I ain't got to have an airplane to get it, I get it.
Yes, sir. Yes,
and I told him I get it. So it took me 2 days to cut a road into that thing. See, most loggers don't understand that. When you down a straight hill, you can't cut the road straight down. You got to cut it sideways, zigzag to get down in there for the machine to work itself back up. And it was so steep, I had to hook my skidder to the back of my dozer. So when I got so far, I couldn't dozer and bag up the skittle to help pull me back to get the road into there. And I went I got that wood out. That man paid me, man, what I wanted.
Right.
He paid me what I wanted. He said, man, you a tough logger. But you have to use your head.
Right.
You got to use your head.
That's the main thing. You have to use your head and just, you know, your ability, your work ethic, and you know, the rest is basically back in those days. You said back in the 80s, early 90s. How many loads you think y'all averaged back in them days?
Well, I think the most I ever got was 66 loads a week. I would put out something like 66 loads a week, and which was big back in them days.
Man,
yeah, running.
You know, if you get 60 loads a week now, that's good.
Yeah, I
30 some years, nearly 40 years later.
And that's it. I pumped 66 loads out on a week. And man, I tell you, it just, God just been with me. You know, it just been with me, but you know.
Now Dick, what other stuff you had going on? I know one time, as a kid, I remember you venturing off to a clothing store and kind of tell us about that, you know.
Well, I started out, I opened up a clothing store. And I would go and get my clothes from Atlanta, Georgia, all out in Texas, brand new stuff, and then put it in my store. And I was still logging. But the thing was, you can't find nobody dependable to work. They was taking my clothes out the store. The workers were wearing them on the weekend, put them in the cleaner, bring them back, put them in the store. I'm telling you, man, so it was rough. And then one night they called me and told me somebody had broke in the store, and I had about $3,000 something. She said she left it in the cash register. Why would you leave $3,000 in cash register and cash register all gone? But that didn't make sense. But you know, I kept on pushing. Yeah, and I moved it to from down south. I moved it to Boulder.
Yeah, I think it was Mount Olive.
Mount Olive, yeah. I moved from Mount Olive back to Boulder, Mississippi. I did real good for because I had a nice lady, good, but she developed cancer, and that's what shut that down.
Right.
Yeah, so I was a person. I always raised something that my check would come home.
Right.
I raised one time I went in the hog business. Yeah, I had a bunch of hogs, built me a pen, had a bunch of hogs, and I had 125 pigs born in 1 week. And I would get them hogs up to about 250 pounds. And do you know they wouldn't give you something like $35, $40 for that hog? A whole hog. And I was working down a place called Grand Gulf, but I sent them to the sale, but if I had been there, I'd have brought them back.
Right.
I'd have brought them back. So I had about 7 or 8 left. So what I did with those 7 hogs, I had my uncle and another guy. I told him, I said, look, y'all tell me what y'all charge to kill these hogs and split them down the middle. And I was killing those hogs and splitting them down the middle and getting $125 for each side. Yeah, if people were buying half of a hog for $125, well, look at, I gave away 14 heads. But you know, you got to use your head. But the guy that took them to the sale, he should have known that was too cheap to bring them back.
Right.
And so after then, I would kill those hogs and split them down the middle, and then I would sell them like that. And then I would raise the pig And when they get up and start eating for themselves, I get $25 for each pig. So I was selling something like, I guess $200 or $300 a week just in pigs and stuff. That's what I was living off. Stuff I had to do. My check was going to the bank. So I'm still logging. And I went and bought me about 80. I had 80 something head of cow. I had bought. See, I'm doing all this by myself. Yeah, I'm doing it all by myself. Check my cows on it. Sometimes you lose 3 or 4, but don't worry about that. Keep on pushing.
Right.
Yeah, because people take your stuff, sit back and take your stuff just because they can.
Right.
Don't want nothing, they want what you got. And so I started selling kids off of my cows, brought me good money and everything. It was enough, they were the kids that took care of themselves. You know, they bought the hay for themselves and all of that. But I began to get sick, and it got to the place where I couldn't keep them, because my kidneys and things fell on me, and that shut me down. I was in the hospital and then had nobody to see them. So I had to try to get home and sell what was left, because they was taking them over there, cutting the fence, running the cows out, and
and before we get into you talking about sickness, how you got sick, I want to talk about the pros and cons. Your honest thoughts on the pros, which the positives of being a logger, and the cons of being a logger. From your own 40 plus years of logging, give your expertise on that.
Well, logging is a good job if you got to want to do it. It's hard work. It's very hard work. And I did it for about 40 some years. And people was coming in. They'd come in, start logging, buy all this equipment and stuff, and next month or two they gone.
Right.
And they would always tell me, once you get you a new this or new that. But I said, well, I'm doing all right with what I got. And one guy came up to me, he had bought new trucks, 2 new skills, and 2 new dozers. And he ain't stayed in business 3 months. He couldn't do it. Yeah, he couldn't do it. But I was still there. When he left, I was still coming along. And I was one of the first that went into cutting long wood. Because the man that was buying the short wood was making the money. So I started cutting long wood, take it to the mill, and get that millman out of there. And so I was one of the first that saw that vision. And we had a meeting over there at International Paper Company, and the man stood up and told me, said, T.J. was one of the first saw this vision. He said, so now the vision he saw, look, that's the one we're going to, long wood. And so I started cutting long wood, and I did it up until I couldn't. Yeah, I cutting long wood, and people talk about you. Yeah, they talk about me bad, man. But I didn't care. I was steady going on. Steady going forward, and then show you how they is. They sat back and watched me for a whole year, and I was still making it. Then you know anything? All of them got long trucks and started following me. So that's why we got a vision. You just go for it. Don't worry about what the people say. You go for it yourself. And so all of them are following me, and I said, well, if I had a shut down, then they wouldn't have done nothing. Yeah, but I was always going forward.
Well, everybody need a leader.
That's it.
They need a true leader. As the pros and cons of it for it with family, you know, with your kids.
Oh yeah.
You know, as long as out there that can't make every appointment, they you know, it might be a situation where their wives are upset because
Right.
you know she had dinner ready and you didn't make it home in time to actually cook the dinner, or you didn't get a chance to get in the movie. Which, you know, you might have some loggers that get home on time. We want to hear from you.
Yeah.
You know what you experienced, your experience.
Well, you know, once you get married, the wives don't understand a lot of times. You can't be at home because the thing they want to do, you can't even do it. You can't spend time with your children like you want to, you know. So it's time that I didn't go on vacation. I just didn't have the time to do it because I had my equipment to keep up and all that. And then my wife told me I was a workaholic, but I really was, because I had to keep that job going. Yes, because it was feeding more than me. Yeah, you had 13 other people out there was living
depending
on me. And so I had to keep all that going. But yeah, it's time. You ain't gonna be able to spend time with your children like you should. And you ain't gonna be able to go on vacation and stuff. Because if you do, you got to shut your job down. And so I wasn't financially able to shut down. And it rained and stuff, so you had to keep going to keep things together so you would have a business. You have to talk to them and try to get them to understand and see, you know, and if you want what I want, then you ain't got no problem.
Right, gotta get on the same page.
Gotta be on the same page.
There's a lot of time, I think, a lot of people forget about, they always talk about the mother's love, but they never talk about the father's sacrifice.
Right.
And the thing is, you know, the women are always there with the kids, and we take nothing from the women. We love the women.
Oh, yeah.
And we can't do it without the women.
Right.
We're grateful for them. But a lot of times, they don't talk about the sacrifice us as men actually make, you know, that we have to take in, you know, the hours we have to put in to make our business a successful business, because no one's not going to do anything for you other than you. And no one else is going to do anything like you want it done other than you.
That's right.
So that's just one of those things, but that's one of the main things that's very important when you in business. The fact that understanding, you know, and the other thing is with kids, a lot of times it's a must that they understand, you know. You know, it's a must that you are able to provide them with understanding about what you have to do to, you know, be able to pay the lights, you know.
That's right.
Be able to pay the house note, or whatever the case might be. So there's a situation there that is, you know, it's basically never talked about, you know, amongst the guys. You know, we the guys need their brownie points too.
Oh yeah.
You know, so we sacrifice a lot for as fathers. We might first time he walked because we was at work, you know. We might miss the first time he talked because we was at work. So now things are a lot better than they were back years ago. Back then, you know, you have the video on your phones, and you have all this different recording. You can, you know, your wife can go live or whatever. So things have changed a lot, but The main thing is from coming from those days and back in the 80s logging, and it was extremely harder then than it is now.
That's right.
That's the importance that people need to know. Now you got processors, you got delimbers, you got skidders that turn the seat turn around backwards.
Oh yeah.
Don't put your body in the screen all the time. But back in those years, everything put your body in the screen.
Everything.
It just was a test.
It was a test. The cold weather, I don't care if it was freezing, you didn't have no protection around you. Just the clothes you wore. And in that air, you be freezing and going on, but we had to get it.
Had to get it.
Yeah, couldn't sit down cause of a little ice on the ground. Most time when you was in a place where it was kind of boggy, bad, you wanted the ground to freeze. So you go out there and load that truck, come on out, cause the ground be frozen.
Right.
It sank down.
Before it thaw out.
Yeah, we did it all. We did all of it. We worked around it. But I tell you, it was some hard days. And I thank God, that I was blessed to raise my kids. And they could understand, but a lot of time your wife won't understand it.
Right.
Yeah, say they used to call me a workaholic.
Right.
But now you can't get nobody to work a talk. That's it.
And before we get to talk about you getting sick, I want you to also talk about the importance. And you actually able to see it before your eyes now, but the importance of raising your kids up to be. You always told me, and I always said on the TNT Logging Show, you taught us. You always said you was raising us to be assets, not liabilities.
That's right.
And so I would love for you to interpret on that, on what procedures you took when we was kids, when I was a kid, when Sam was a kid, the procedures you took that actually helped me now to be a successful logger.
Yeah. Well, I started out with y'all real young. When y'all got out of school, I bought y'all little saws, and y'all would be out there cutting a limb or cutting a top out. And I paid you just like you working for a regular job. I'll let you know, don't work for nothing.
Right.
And I paid you just like you was on the payroll. And that's where it started from. And y'all did a wonderful job. And so, as time came, I look back where you said I was going to sell the company, and you said, Daddy, don't say let us try it. I never would have thought that y'all would take it and go on, but I know it was in you. But y'all took this same company and built it to be a bigger company.
Right.
And then you're not a liability. He's a blessing to me.
Right.
Yeah, see, that's the thing about it. You ain't walking around with your hand out. I need this and I need that. You bringing me something.
Right.
So that's what you want to raise your children to be, access to you. You don't want the children to be a liability. You take them all their life. And so, but God has just been good. And I thank God how y'all have took this company and went forward and built it bigger and bigger. And so that was another thing. But you had to get those work ethic. And I started with you at a young age.
Instilled
it in you. It's be hot out there. Y'all used to be sweating and going on. But I kept on telling you, come on, son.
Right.
Come on, son. And then, weekend or something, you got that little check. It looked good to you.
Right.
Yeah, see? So that'll give you more than a notion.
Right. Motivation.
Motivation, yeah. So all that have to be done instilled in your children. You got to give them work ethic.
Right.
Yeah, and that way they'll work. When they get grown, they'll work.
Right.
But if they ain't done never sitting around and watching TV, they gonna go to the
get
street.
Something for nothing.
That's right. They go to the street for advice.
Bring them up the way they should go.
That's right. Have to do it.
Bring them up the way they should go.
Yeah, you have to do it.
I know what high blood pressure and what you feel like trigger high blood pressure. Was it the fact that you're so driven as an entrepreneur that might have been the case with causing your was it high blood pressure that triggered? So we want you to talk about that and the importance of that, and also the fact that sometimes it's hard when you're so driven to be able to take those appointments when you need to take them or whatever.
Right. That's one thing I would like to say. I didn't believe in going to a doctor. So you need to go to your doctor. Try to have a regular checkup on your body and stuff, because there's a lot of stress into logging.
Wow.
And so, when you got this see to everything and all your equipment, all your meds and everything else, you got to keep telling them. It's a lot of stress will be on you.
Wow.
And so stress is just as bad as high blood pressure. And so I would just like to tell people, go to your doctor and be checked out. Take that moment. It don't take long. Go have keep your blood pressure checked, and then you could tell whether your blood is running different. If you see it up all the time, then go to the doctor and get you some help. Well, it not only would kill your kidneys, it throw you into a stroke. Yeah, so I didn't believe in going to the doctor back then, because I was just a tough old guy. But I see now, I wish I had a went check. It should do that. Because you have some stressful days out there.
Right.
And
then we want to talk about what year that you found out that you was having kidney failure. And pretty much, how did it affect you mentally and, physically?
Well, it was 2008. I started having problems, and went to the doctor. And what I was going to buy through insurance, and the lady told me, said, I can't say because your kidneys is failing. Life insurance.
Right.
She said, your kidneys is failing. My kidneys is failing. She said, yeah. So you got to go to a doctor. And so I went to this doctor, and he said, yeah, your kidneys is failing. And they tried to work around and try to save them, but they were too far gone. And so that was back in 2008, 2009. It affected me mentally, because I was a man used to working and being on the job. And so, by me being sick and stuff, I couldn't do those things. Yeah, and so, it affect you now. It gonna affect you. Then they had to start me, set up to put me on dialysis 3 days a week. Well, you can't run no job like that. So I said, Lord, it's just one of those things. But I've been on dialysis since 2009. You want to do, you can't do no more.
Right. Ever since 2009, it's about 12 years or so. So that's a long time.
Yeah.
To actually be on dialysis, but that's pretty much where they put your needles in there to draw the blood and everything. Right. And I guess just tell more about your experience with it, the ups and downs of it, because I'm very sure you have other people that's either on dialysis or have family members that's on dialysis. So everybody have their own experience with it. But if you can just
well, the most thing I would tell anybody, keep your focus. Dialysis, it's as long as you can get the treatment, it's not so bad.
Right.
Yeah, but lately they said my heart is about gone. So and that come from that kidney failure.
Right.
Because it's working with your body.
Right. With
So,
your organs.
Yeah, with your organs and see it with a biggest portion of your body. Your kidney controls all that.
Right.
And so the doctor told me that my heart is gone and nothing they can do about it. Well, but I lived a good life. Thank God for all of y'all doing good. They ain't in jail nowhere. You got a good job. You working. I got grandchildren. I got good people around me. And so that helps a lot. And when you got good people around you that don't talk it down, it's just something you got to go through.
Right.
Yeah, so it get rough sometimes, but just keep pushing.
Right, keep pushing.
Keep pushing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, many people don't want to do it. I had a buddy say he wasn't going to do it, and he didn't. 2 weeks he was gone too. But I tried to talk to him. I said, you need to live for your grandchildren and everything. He said, I ain't going to do that. He said, I just ain't going to do it. And he left me in 2 weeks. That made me feel real bad, but all you can do is tell them that. But if you got faith in God, you don't let that mind get in your mind.
Right.
Yeah, that cause you to let your life go just like that.
Right.
Yeah, so you got to keep a positive mind. Yeah, I know you're gonna die when your time comes, but let's keep on pushing.
Right.
That's right. Keep pushing.
If God took you today or tomorrow, from your heart, what would you want your family to know, your friends, pretty much, what would be your deal that you would want them to know about your legacy of Mr. T.J. Richardson? What would you want the people to know?
Well, they know my legacy. Everybody that's right now, they call and tell me the toughest old man they ever seen.
Right.
Because I never give up.
Right.
And so you build your legacy. And see, can't nobody take that from you.
Right.
Yeah, they know you and know what you done. They've been around you, and my thing is I tell them all, dying ain't no problem.
Right.
It's where you go after you die.
Right.
So you have to get your heart right and everything. So once you leave him, you know everything being taken care of.
Right.
Yeah, because the Bible has promised me that he was going to bless me, my children, and my children's children.
Right.
He promised me that if I live right. So when you living right and God gave you that promise, you ain't got nothing to worry about.
Exactly.
That's right. You ain't got nothing to worry about. You got some go astray a little while, but they gonna come back. Yeah. Yeah, they'll come back.
Different, yeah.
Yeah, they'll come back. Just keep faith in God.
Tell your kids, you have how many?
Yeah, I had to count them. All these boys got.
Right.
But I would just tell them like this here. Keep on doing what you're doing. Don't worry about daddy because he's going to be in a better place. And, you worry about it and you'll think about it. But every chance you get, look to the hill where your help come from.
That's right.
And keep on going. Yeah, that's the thing about it because it's something to lose a good father.
Right.
Yeah, it's something to lose a good father now. But it'll stay with you for a while, but just keep on pushing to the hill. And it'll be all right.
Father, how old was you when granddad passed?
I was about 50-something. 50-something years old. Because
and just talk about what he meant to you as a visionary, because like I said, he bought hundreds of acres of land and basically coming from nothing.
That's it.
Break the door down.
Right.
To get to success, if the odds wasn't, available for him, the odds were against him.
Yeah.
So we want to talk about it. Was my grandfather, which was a very wise man. I was young. I was a teenager, I guess, when he passed.
Well, my dad was a guy. He was very smart. Had a lot of wisdom. He had a lot of wisdom. And I was telling you earlier, we didn't live on plantations or nothing like that.
Right.
We lived on our own place.
Right.
We worked our own fields and stuff, because he was blessed. He had bought his own land and stuff, so I didn't have to worry about going out there. When the man said you got to go, we would go when we know we had to go.
Right.
And so he did that all my life. I worked for my father on this place here, raising cotton and corn and peas. I worked now. Don't get me wrong, we worked. Right. Because we provided everything we ate. And we had to raise it from scratch, And I always said we didn't have meat on every table, but we had biscuits and cornbread and stuff like that, and the greens and different other stuff Mama would put up. And so we lived good. We didn't go hungry. That's like people at home, you might be hungry for a day or something, but you had something to eat. Yeah, so he did that for us. And he done what he could to kind of keep us going. Right. Yeah, he done what he could. Sometime I had to stay out of school to get that field plowed out, because if it didn't, grass would take it over. So I didn't get to go to school like I should. But I thank God still I was blessed.
Right. Blessed with wisdom.
That's right. I was still blessed because we had to work. We just had to work.
Yeah, gotta get it.
Had to get it.
Gotta get it.
Yeah, we had to get it.
And this is a funny moment here. Brother, my uncle, Doug, we call him. He said y'all was racing cars or something one time.
Yeah. Yeah, we had the wild bunch.
How old were y'all when y'all had your own car?
About 16.
So y'all made enough money and bought your own car?
Bought his own car, 16 years old. I remember getting the car, it cost me $13 a week. I had to pay out of that $57 a week. And I had our own car.
Talk about managing money.
Managing money. I hadn't paid notes on it, every one of them. Yeah, so he had put in us everything we needed to make it.
Right.
Yeah, and the main thing was never give up.
That's right.
Never give up.
Never give up.
Yeah, that was the main thing. It looked dark sometimes, but don't give up.
Right.
No, don't give up on it. Yeah,
that's what it's all about. You can't, like I say, you can't never give up. And,
that's right.
You gotta always be determined, be motivated, inspired, and just just gotta be focused.
Got to be focused.
At the end of the day to make everything fall in place.
That's right.
And that's just what it is.
That's what it is.
And just be prepared. Like they say, you hope for the best, expect the worst.
That's right.
And And then you always want to expect people to be who they actually are.
That's right.
Save yourself the anger.
Yeah, that's right.
If you lend it, GM $20, and you know GM don't pay nobody back, then you can't be upset about it. Because,
right.
That's just what it is. He ain't never paid nobody back. So the most you can do is try not to make yourself upset. And angry. As much as possible. And there's a thing that I learned to try to always stay motivated and always be in good spirit.
Right.
And always keep positivity around you. And it goes a long way, a positive spirit.
Yeah.
And you can kind of tell people that has negative, energy and toxic energy, as the young folks call it. But you want to align yourself around positive people.
That's right.
And that's just what it is. You, Pops, you also, I know we lost my grandfather, your father, and we also lost grandma, your mother, which actually been about 4 years ago now, which helped raise me. A lot of people say I got an old soul, but grandma helped raise me a lot too. So I'm basically grateful for her. I had my mom's grandparents also, but grandmama, your mom, Miss Bessie May Richardson, I stayed with her and stayed around her more than any of my grandparents. So she really truly been missed. And but grandma, she was a strong woman, strong black woman.
Yes, she was.
It's just you don't see that anymore. Because I think grandma basically blind for several years.
That's right.
Yeah, she was actually blind for several years. And man, I never heard her complain. It's unbelievable. But I never heard her complain. So
a smile on her face every time you walk in the field.
Right. So you talking about strength, that's each person has their own level of strength, but I tell you talking about strength, that was a strong woman. She was real strong. But like I said, I was grateful for her. The amount of years I did get a chance to be in her life, she being in my life, so I'm actually grateful for that. But that was your mom. Dad, you can elaborate on what you learned from her and pretty much something that you might use to this day that she instilled in you.
Yeah, because I remember when I was a young boy, I wanted to be outdoors playing, and she would make me come in the house and come in the kitchen and make me stand upside the stove, and she would put the ingredients in bread and different stuff and have me to whoop it up and everything. And I told her, I said, Mama, when I get grown, I'm gonna get me a wife. I don't need to cook. And she said, well, you might get one can't cook.
Right.
And I saw that happen because most young women can't cook.
Right.
Yeah, I was talking today out there, and women's got 3 or 4 children, don't know how to make dressing, can't make a biscuit, can't cook a cake, and it's unbelievable. And but I can cook cakes, I make dressing, I can cook any kind of meat I want, any kind of vegetable. It come from my mama. Well, I thank God for her, because if you come in, your wife got her mouth stuck out and ain't cooked, don't worry.
Right.
Let's hit the kitchen.
Right.
And go to work, and when you get through, she gonna want to eat.
And that's what it's about. I remember, like you said, I always taught me you want to basically be irreplaceable.
Right.
I remember always being taught, if you're not the best, you're gonna be one of the best.
There you go.
And that's what it is. It means a lot, to put yourself and you might be your worst criticized out of anybody.
That's right.
You're gonna push yourself to the limit. Till you can't no more. So, but yeah, kid, for his cook, like you said, you cook better than a lady can.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that means a lot. That's an ability and a skill. I mean, it's just a blessing.
Yes, it is.
Yes, Lord, it's just a blessing.
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah, but other than that, then Pops, this is Legendary Loggers, episode of the Legendary Loggers. Anything else that you have on your heart you would love to say while the camera rolling?
Well, one thing forgot to mention is we would get 2 pair of shoes when we was coming up, one for school, one for the field. And if the sole came off those shoes, you had to wear to school, you had to take tie wire and tie that sole back on that shoe. I was embarrassed, true enough. I was around 13 years old, and boys began to look at the young girls, and young girls began to look at boys. But seemed like I was the poet something at the school.
Right.
But never did. They couldn't break me.
Right.
They couldn't break my spirit. And so
self-motivation.
Self-motivation. And right now, those walk around with new shoes on and knew that done blew everything their mom and dad left them and lost the place and all that stuff. But this old boy walked around with that water shoe still here. And blessed that they got a place he leaving for the church.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And also, before we do go, we want to talk about the fact that he didn't only buy land. He didn't only venture off to do other businesses, buy cattle, do hogs, and this was for what? 7th, 8th grade education.
That's right.
7th, 8th grade education.
Mm-hmm.
But he also logged in the logging business, and I think what y'all gross one year, 500-600K.
Mm-hmm.
500-600K. So, but like he said, a young man that walked around with hog rings in his shoe, and so that's something that's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, you have to believe in yourself.
Oh yeah.
You have to see the vision when no one else sees it.
That's right.
And you can't really get upset because people might laugh or smile.
Right.
When you approaching a situation, because at the end of the day, God only made one phone call. He called you. He didn't call them.
That's right.
So they don't know what you see in your eyes.
That's right.
So it's just one of those things. Being a visionary, that you're able to actually see things before the next man, the next person could even think about.
That's right.
So it's a gift.
Yeah, it's a gift.
It's a gift. So that's just one of the things. That comes with a legendary logger.
That's right.
And so, with that said, I mean, it's just a part of the GGK, go get a king and dig to money type of deal. So, with that said, we appreciate y'all for watching. You have anything else?
No, that'd be all.
We appreciate y'all for watching, and like I said, we'll see y'all on the next Legendary Logger episode show.
Cows get out, go get them. Hogs get out, had to go put them back in and fix. We just 13 years old. And so, you all got to do it, we had to do it. And as time grew, I think I was about 15, and I started working and I worked 5 and a half, changing oil, washing cars, and all of that pumping.
They got some big old chicken.
That is a big chicken breast thing.
I say appetite ain't left here.
Thank God
So
for
I
that,
ain't
'cause he needs
right
strength.
there. You need to eat something.
That's the protein in.
He didn't know they got some big old chicken.
All right, thank y'all for coming. All right.
Hey, how you doing? Oh, child, I ain't done too
You
good.
ate that whole steak there.
Mm-hmm.
Happening now, Jackson's capital city lights Christmas.
Ain't got no room for that salad though, is it? Yeah, say fool now.
Yeah, I'm fooling that, man.
It's December the 5th, and like I said, we got the family and everything down. They didn't give possible a few days on this earth. However, yep, I only gave him a few days on this earth, however, but he already been 5 days in so far. But at the end of the day, you know, it is what it is. Family, folks, and everybody down here showing their love and their support. And we having a fish fry, cooking them steaks, and all that good stuff. But nevertheless, you know, God is good. Did it, I always said, you know, God blessed him 70. So he got a chance to see 70 years old. He been on dialysis for going on 13 years. And said that they told him he wouldn't survive but 5. So he been here nearly triple that. So he got a chance to see his kids, you know, grown and run the business. And so it's just one of those things. You know, we all gotta leave here, but we never want to talk about it, but it's just what it is. So we'll get a good little footage of this day, and it'll go down in history. You know, Mr. T.J. Richardson, Legendary Logger. Appreciate y'all. We get back with y'all later. Hey, look, Simon told him yesterday. Said, "Y'all boy, you got a bet on you." Said, "Boy, I bet you mess around, pull and hook up to something, you won't even round up."
I told him I won't rap, but I won't go far.
Tell me, Bella, hold the load down.
Yeah, I wouldn't go too far because I give out quick. Oh, I gotta go.
He ain't never been. I ain't never been.
Yeah, I gotta go. Yeah.
Until we meet again, Pops, I'm still applying pressure, day by day, to anybody that's in my way. You already know, your baby boy don't play.
Shout out to D.
Rest in peace. We really miss you, man, Pop. Love you for life, till we meet again.